Strange Ride is brought to you commercial-free through the generous support of our patrons. Visit strangerideshow.com and click on Donate to help keep the history of the weird on the digital airwaves.
Stranger Things released July 15th, 2016, and quickly dethroned House of Cards as the flagship Netflix original series. Akin to Game of Thrones, it felt as if everyone was watching it, talking about it, and most importantly, demanded more of it. The Duffer Brothers, who wrote the show, then had huge expectations and responsibilities thrusted upon them. They had to continue a show that captured the hearts of millions and attempt to make them all happy, while also staying true to the characters, their vision for the show, and as well, I'm sure, some Netflix executives' visions for the show. And now they had to do it on a quickened timeline so that they could continue to ride the hype that Stranger Things had built up. These are admittedly not easy things to do. And with the final season finally out about 10 years after the first season aired, we finally get to see whether the Duffer Brothers were up to the task. Well, spoiler alert, it seems people are pretty divided on whether or not the brothers stuck the landing. It seems to be skewing more towards no, they did not stick the landing. This ended up leading to the creation of Conformity Gate. A large portion of fans were so upset about the ending that they essentially refused to believe that it was the real ending. They believed that they had found clues hidden in the final episode that revealed that the events that we had watched for 2 hours, mind you, were not real, but a vision created by the main villain of the season, Vecna, and a secret 9th episode would stealthily drop and reveal the true ending of the show. Today, we'll be talking about Conformity Gate and how it came to be, as well as our personal opinions on how the show came to be, or came together as a whole, because there were some pretty strange choices that were made. Welcome to Strange Ride, where I tell the smartest man I know the weirdest things I know, or should I say the strangest things I know for this episode.
Are we calling this Stranger Ride Things?
Yeah.
What are we calling this?
Stranger, yeah.
I've heard Stranger Things.
We're only doing this episode because this show was meant to have ended a year ago, but, we decided that, in fact, that was all in your imaginations, dear listeners.
This is the secret 9th episode not released, yes. My name is Savannah Barrett, and I will be your guide today, but you aren't the only ones going on this ride. I have a friend of the podcast, Malik Hopkins, here with us.
How you doing?
And then, of course, we have the smartest man I know, Rob C. Thompson of Occult Confessions fame.
Here to complain about a TV ending like no man has ever done before. Brand new thing.
You might be able to already guess what our opinions are of the finale.
I have some good things to say. Malik, do you have some positives on this?
I do have some positives.
Yeah,
because I will say I did enjoy most of it. There were just a lot of things that didn't need to happen.
But I think the complaints I have for this season are the same I have for most of the other seasons. Yeah.
Okay.
In general.
I think it's been too long of the other seasons for me to have complaints about them.
Malik is a film major, so we are. That's why I invited him to talk about this topic. I felt like he'd have some good things to discuss. Mm-hmm. And then also, I wanted to say welcome back to Strange Ride. I do apologize for disappearing for so long and without a word. I really never meant to, but last year was a year, and I unfortunately didn't have the bandwidth to live my life and research, write, record, and then edit for this podcast. So I'm in a little bit of a better mental state than I have been, and I also just truly missed podcasting and doing this podcast, so I can't promise that I will post every single month, although that is the goal.
It's always the goal.
Yes, but I do promise that I will not disappear again for like an entire year.
Well, an OC really is not going to be able to absorb all the work I'm doing on 90s cartoons, so certainly I will have some Strange Ride episodes too.
Rob is obsessed with 90s like Nintendo cartoons.
Everything. So many things. Yeah, so many things.
All right, well, before we truly get started, I would like to be upfront about this episode and what we're here to talk about today. So when I watched the finale of Stranger Things, I had so many issues with the choices that were made that instantly I was like, I need to talk about this, and thought it would be a good way to jump back into podcasting since leaving it for a year, especially since I'm very passionate about this subject. Then as I was rewatching the entire series to prepare for this episode, Conformity Gate took over my entire Instagram page and also sucked my sisters into believing it might happen, so that was an incredibly happy coincidence.
You've pilled people.
I know.
You've Stranger Things pilled people.
So I get to script Dr. Stranger Things for you all, and I get to talk about something that truly is really strange. So it's a win-win. Also, a warning, if you haven't seen the final season or the finale yet, we are going to be talking about it extensively. So if you care about spoilers, you might want to pause here and come back to us once you've finished watching it.
Yeah, come back.
Don't
after
watch
the
it. It's not
bridge.
a necessity, you know.
You can just listen to this.
Yeah, just listen.
Savannah
Yeah.
will sum it up for you.
Yeah. I will. But,
Are we going to pledge?
oh my God, I didn't
This
write
is
my
a good time.
pledge.
No, this is a good time right now because we've told them to get off the ship if they want to watch the ending.
That's true.
Let's do it.
I solemnly commit myself to keep my hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times while on this strange ride. Thank you for reminding me. I can't believe I didn't write that in my episode, in my script.
It's all
And
good.
I wasn't ready for that.
Well, now you know.
All right. So, and just like always on Strange Ride, I like to delve into the history of the subject before getting into the main topic for today, and that tradition continues now with Stranger Things. So, from what I've read, it seems as though Matt and Ross Duffer, better known as the Duffer Brothers, who are twins and work on all of their projects together, were sort of nobodies for a long time. They were passionate about filmmaking since they were children, and wanted to be directors, not writers. However, no one seemed to be hiring just directors, so they realized that they needed to start writing to help get their feet in the door. They did eventually gain an agent and ended up making a movie titled Hidden, which had a limited release in 2011. And apparently nobody's seen. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard of it, but...
It's hidden.
Oh, the Duffer Brothers are so smart. They're so good
Meta.
writers.
That is some meta shit right there.
They worked in the industry enough to end up making some connections that helped them get to a spot where they were able to pitch their own TV series to a bunch of different places. This TV series that they were pitching was originally called Montauk. It had a lot of similarities to Stranger Things. I mean, it was Stranger Things, but except that it was set in the real town of Montauk.
Stranger things.
Yeah.
No stranger than Montauk, I'll tell you that.
Montauk, New York, by the way, in case you didn't know, which apparently has like a lot of secrecy and like conspiracy theories behind it or something. Like apparently like they believe like MK Ultra experiments happened there and stuff, but I don't really.
You know, as you get outside the city, things start to get a little funky in New York.
Sure. I tried looking it up briefly, but the only thing that kept popping up was like, come visit Montauk, and I'm like, the government's covering something up. but I was like, that's not what this episode's about, so I'm gonna just leave it be since I can't find anything about it.
It all goes back to Joseph Smith.
Oh, sure. So with the help of Sean Levi, the brothers were pitching Montauk to anyone that they could, and they were turned down a lot. The concept of a dark sci-fi mystery horror show with kids in the center of it was something that executives were not interested in. They believed that you couldn't have such an adult show with kids at the center of it. They were like, it had to be a kid show.
Have they never been to Japan?
I couldn't tell you, but
I do think that's true. I mean, in the work I'm doing in the 80s and 90s, the Japanese they love to put children, like the 12 and 13-year-olds, in the middle of horrible, very adult scenarios. They do this all the time. Well, it's an anime, trope. I mean, Sailor Moon, right, is essentially that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just for example.
Hunter.
Right. I mean, the most familiar, right?
Even One Piece, yeah.
One Piece,
yeah.
sure. Yeah, there's always these like children who are definitely they shouldn't be skilled enough to manage this.
Right.
But in America, traditionally, we have been a little like loath, especially if there were sexual subject matter. We get like really hinky about that. And yet, when you look at the 80s, there is some of this going on, right? In Gremlins or whatever.
Goonies.
They're just a bit older. I mean,
Yeah.
in the Gremlins case, right? We prefer like older teenagers to be at the center of these, horror things.
Yeah, and
as
these
opposed
kids
to
were like
11, right?
Yeah.
They were 11. They were called 11. Everything was 11.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, so the executives were all like, it either needs to be a kid's show and you need to make it like friendlier, and not as scary, or you need to cut the kids completely and just make it about Hopper's investigation into the missing child, which I think would have been a shitty and boring show. But anyway.
I mean, It too, right? Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Stephen
Definitely
King was
yeah.
known for this.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they were actually really inspired by Stephen King and a lot of, well, clearly a lot of 80s movies and stuff. Like,
Sure.
Stranger Things was basically like a homage to their childhood.
Yeah, one after the other, right? Different inspirations in different seasons.
Yeah, I never read the It book myself, but I know he made some weird content at the end of it.
Yeah.
And the kids in the middle of it is just, well, I was like, glad they didn't do that in the movies.
But they did make a movie, or if it's like a TV series or something. It was like
Yes.
it was a movie TV series of it in the 80s. It had Tim Curry as Pennywise, and it was
Was
awesome.
it 80s or was it like the 1990s? I thought it was in the 90s.
know.
I can't remember. I wouldn't know.
But-
I would know, but I wouldn't.
I do think, too, that because of Stranger Things' success, it helped lead to them creating the remake of It, because that was a horror movie centered around kids, and it even had Finn Wolfhard in it, who plays Mike in Stranger Things. So, like, it feels like that kind of paved the way to be like, oh, kids can handle adult subject matter. Or adults like to watch kids in horrible situations, I guess.
I mean, I'm even thinking of like Pet Sematary, where the like toddler child dies and like is, you know, comes back as a zombie in the book anyway. Yeah, and he's like moldy, like horrible things,
Yeah.
right? The child is hit by a truck, like just things you don't want to imagine. Stephen King often got up to that, involving children.
But I guess they were pitching this in the like 2010s.
Yeah, that
so,
aesthetic had long since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really like taboo for them to do that. But yeah, they were like, well, we don't want to make it a kid's show, and we don't want to make it just about Hopper, so we'll find somebody else. And eventually they did. They got Netflix to buy it.
Netflix greenlights everything.
Yeah. Because at that time, I think it was like House of Cards and Orange is the New Black and stuff like that. So like they had some hit like Netflix original series and things. So, but they ended up changing the location of the show to be a fictional town in Indiana because they thought it would be easier for the plans that they had for the story. But they were able to keep their vision and have the kids be right in the center of the show, and they really found and I believe they really found the right group of kids to portray these characters. I think these kids were so cute in the first season. I love them. So that's about it on the history that I have for the show. I know it wasn't like a super deep dive, and if you want more, you can watch the documentary that Netflix just released on the making of Stranger Things. But now you have some further context to work with. Also, the documentary is so boring, and it's 2 hours long. I watched it last night, and I hated it, but...
Of course it's 2 hours long.
Yes! It was, oh my god, it was so boring. But anyway, so let's fast forward and dive into Conformity Gate. I'm pretty sure I first started seeing reels and TikToks about Conformity Gate almost as soon as I finished the final episode on New Year's Day. I couldn't find an exact origin because this conspiracy theory grew to such an enormous amount that you're overwhelmed by people talking about it. So the biggest takeaway from it, though, is that people were so unhappy with the characters' endings and noticed so many continuity errors throughout the final season that they just genuinely could not believe that episode 8 was the true ending of the show. Citing Lucas's one quote in the final season, where he almost directly looks at the camera and says,
I don't know about you guys, but I don't believe in coincidences.
the fans jumped to Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram to begin posting and spreading the word. Together, they all built off of one another and determined that all of these clues that they had been finding meant that a secret 9th episode would be released on January 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, what were these clues that they were finding? Well, one was the quote that I mentioned from Lucas. People were saying how strange it was that it seems that the character looks directly at the camera and says there is no such thing as coincidences.
Other than that, like, this is a thing we've heard in every sci-fi show that has ever been made, right? Like, David
Yes.
Duchovny said it every episode of The X-Files twice.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like kind of how Stranger Things works as a show too, because it's literally like every season they put the puzzle pieces together and they figure out that there's no coincidences and blah blah blah. But the fans were like, "Oh my God, look! See, the show itself is telling us not to trust what we've seen." Even though the scene where Lucas says that quote is when he puts together that Vecna will probably try to end the world on the anniversary of the day Will was taken.
Which is precisely what happens.
Yeah. And he wasn't looking directly at the camera. He was looking at Nancy. Like, I watched that scene a couple times, and I'm like, guys, he's not looking directly at the camera. But, you know, we're gonna...
Okay, that's good. Because I don't remember him directly looking at the camera.
He didn't directly look at the camera, but, like, the camera shot, like, it does look a little strange. Like, it looks like he might be directly looking at the camera, but he's not. It's meant to be him looking up at Nancy, who's standing next to him, but it's just a close-up of his face, so it looks like he's looking directly at the camera. But we're gonna put on our tinfoil hats here, and we're gonna believe in conformity gates.
We're going to be good ethnographers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malik, did you see, like, conformity gate stuff? I know that you were, you didn't finish the season until last night, right?
Yeah, I watched the finale last night. I heard conformity gate from other people first, from like friends, and I'm like, well, not having like, I didn't have all the clues yet, given that I didn't finish the show yet, but I was like, yeah, that's probably too good to be true.
Yeah.
I think that ultimately the core difference between a fan and a scholar is a fan always just believes what they would like to believe about whatever it is they're watching, whereas a scholar maintains the skepticism that prevents them from being like, this thing I love is awesome and it's going to do whatever I want all the time. Yeah, we have to say, I love it, but boy, this didn't go well.
No.
Or
Yep.
So honestly, if they did go through with it, I would have been like, okay, you know, I'd throw my hands up and like, I was wrong. You know, I didn't think they would pull that off.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was...
But honestly, after watching the documentary, there was no shot that they. We'll get into it. But anyways, yes, Lucas looking into the camera and saying there's no such thing as coincidences was a message from the Duffer Brothers directly to the fans, because they are such talented writers and they never make mistakes ever. So
continuity errors just started this season.
So speaking of the Duffer Brothers never making mistakes, all of the continuity mistakes that we see in the final season and the final episode are not actually mistakes, or at least not by the showrunners and the brothers. No, they are mistakes that Vecna has made in the recreation of the real world that he has made for the characters. Some of the biggest continuity errors the community found and cited in this theory were, there is this like one handle in the squawk, like the radio station that they used the power things, and at one point the needle on it is red, and then in another episode it turns gray. And much
That's an
like
odd prop thing,
right? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
But anyway, but much like the center of the spinny thing that Holly finds in one of her memories, like it was yellow in real life, and then when she's in the memory zone, it is gray, and then she breaks it or whatever. And also, this is so weird. So at the graduation, there is a mother wearing a pin, but the date on the pin says like the year 85 on it, but the kids are the class of 89. So, like...
Well, maybe they had a past graduate, then 85.
Yeah, she's an alumni of the year 85.
Older student graduated 4 years earlier.
Also, the fact that Max is able to graduate after being in a coma for most of the school year.
Right. I didn't think about that. How was like, did they catch her up? And then...
she's a Zoomer.
Yeah, she's just been through a lot. They're like, just give her the degree.
Yeah. They clearly don't give a shit.
And then this seems like the biggest indicator to a lot of the fans. When they're all in the basement at the very end in the final episode playing D&D, the door handle of the door in Mike's basement is on the opposite side that it was in season 1. So in season 1, it was apparently on the left side of the door, and in the end episode here, it's on the right side of the door.
Well, I guess a lot did happen in that house. Maybe they need to replace it.
Like, how many Demogorgons have, like, barreled through that door to keep the thing on the same side?
That house actually was only attached in the final season.
Nevertheless.
But, yes, that's true. So that, like I said, that seemed to be the biggest indicator to some fans that something wasn't right. And like Max says, when they're stuck in Vecna's mind, you have to look for things that stand out. And so now moving on to more things that definitely stood out that weren't really continuity errors, but strange things the fans noticed and put together to add fuel to this theory fire. The one that I genuinely find the weirdest, and like I genuinely was like, that is really weird. Like, I wonder how it even happened. So at their graduation, there is, I'm assuming, a mother sitting in the front row who has a sign, like a big sign, but there's nothing on it. There's nothing on the sign. It's just a big, bright yellow sign that is blank. So now what probably actually happened is that there is stuff on the sign and the extra just accidentally held it towards them so that the blank sign was showing. But it's weird, though. You would think the extra would notice that.
I would also add this theory that it's like that Instagram where, like, prove me wrong, where you can write anything on his sign. Like, maybe that they intended to, like, add a message later that was, like, doofer. Like, they were just gonna CGI it in.
There's no way.
I'm open to that idea.
That would be so much money. And they were very, like, the Duffer Brothers were actually very much like, we're going to do practical effects for pretty much everything kind of thing.
So they weren't going to just write on top of this sign after the fact.
I mean, and you can't see it. It's like she's way in the background. So, like, the fact that people even picked up on it is crazy. But it is true. Like, I was watching the finale again last night, and I was like, sure as shit, that lady has a blank sign, but...
Let me put another one to you. Maybe the extra didn't screw up. Maybe she was supposed to turn the sign over at a certain point, and it just
got cut too early.
Yeah, like when they graduate, you know, you hold up the sign. Like, it would be obnoxious if you're at graduation just holding the damn sign up for 2 hours.
That's a good point. Maybe that is it.
Dustin just goes on and on, like she's standing there with that damn sign.
That sign says, shut up, Dustin.
Yeah, sit down. It's not about you.
Okay, so then the next thing is Noah Schnapp, who plays Will in the show. He posted on Instagram, like, a goodbye to the series, and it was a picture of the final shot of their D&D binder sitting on the shelf, except the order in his picture is screwed up and not what we see in the final episode. In Schnapp's picture, the binders are arranged so that the letters spell out lie.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. That sounds photoshopped. How do you do that? The first one is Max. Will, I guess there's an L in Will.
Who has an I?
Who has an I?
Will has most of the letters in lie.
He does. He does.
Wait, who? Mike?
I know there's
has
a
an
Lucas.
E.
There's an L.
Dustin. Because Will's would be higher up, then Dustin, and then Mike at the end. So that would be... Yeah.
Dustin. Yeah, okay, it's possible. It can be done.
Yes. I mean,
but
I
Max,
saw
you have to just
picture.
ignore Max's name, right?
Yeah.
It's really
well,
But Max's have her name on it?
Well, it does.
It says A
well,
lie.
because it says, well, I was making it a little bit easier for your simpleton minds to understand. But,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
but the true word that it spelled out was X-a-lie. Which, meaning Dimension X was a lie, which I don't know what Dimension X is, so I don't know.
In this contect, nothing, right?
I don't
Was
think
there
so,
something above the abyss?
It's where Elon Musk lives.
But yeah, so that was apparently a thing. The background of some of the episodes, and right in the finale when they're in the basement, you can see board games in the background, and one of the board game is What's It? And so everyone thinks that's a reference to Mr. What's-It, or Henry, or Vecna, or One's alias throughout the final season.
It's clever, but it doesn't dispute, like, that's just a clever thing, right?
Sure. I think the Duffer Brothers were like, oh, hey, that's like that character name we came up with. Throw it in there.
Yes, yeah, why not?
No, but that's a clue, though. It's a clue.
I think on the Nintendo, naturally, I tuned into this, the kids playing Ghosts and Goblins, and I actually made sure that was, like, accurate to the time period, but I think it was, like, yes, Nintendo and Ghosts and Goblins was available in 87, but when I thought about why that particular game, because it's incredibly hard for this little kid to play, it's just because it's spooky, right? Right? Like,
yeah.
He's not going to be playing Super Mario Brothers or like Donkey Kong, right? He's got to be playing the spookiest game.
There was a callback I was actually waiting for, maybe during the scene when they're like playing D&D and Mike's like telling the stories of like all their heroes. So there was a part in, I don't know if this was the finale or an episode before, but Holly loses Holly the hero on her neck. Mm-hmm. Like it like breaks off and falls on the floor. Then it just never gets seen again. So I was like, I thought because the film, like, the directors made it seem like it was an important shot that she loses Holly the hero, but
Yeah.
they like never like brought back to it.
You're so right.
It's a major prop, yeah, for sure. We would want to see it at the end, right? It should be the last thing we see with her, right?
Yeah,
She's
but she
wearing
didn't
this
even
thing.
have it.
No,
Yeah.
we should have moved on.
Like, she didn't even acknowledge that she lost it.
Yeah.
And then, like, I thought
they
it was...
were literally choking her with it.
Right, yeah.
Young kids. Oh my god. So, speaking of Mr. What's-It, Henry, Vecna, or one. So a lot of the things pointed out by fans are hints that Henry created the ending that we see, because things appear how Vecna supposedly would remember them from when he lived in Hawkins. Will in his coming out
and hung out in Mike's basement.
Yeah, right. So Will in his coming out scene references going to buy milkshakes at the general store that Joyce works in throughout the series, but fans say that it never sold milkshakes and only sold them during the time period Henry lived in Hawkins. Another thing fans pointed out is that in an earlier season they mentioned that the graduation gowns were green. Supposedly they were orange during Henry's time in Hawkins, which is what color they are in the finale. Also, I saw another person say they're orange like prison jumpsuits because they're trapped. And I was like, oh.
I love that. I love that so much. Is that really a continuity error? Did they say they were green and then they turned out to be orange?
I don't remember anybody saying that, but I was taking Instagram's word for it.
I'm open to the fact that somebody called them green.
Oh, absolutely. There's no shot
They
that
were
the Duffer
just
Brothers
all
would
orange.
ever remember that. I also thought orange was an ugly choice for their graduation.
Green is far more common.
Yes.
Yeah, was there a scene where like the older kids graduated, like Steve or anything? Did they ever have like
because Nancy and Steve and Jonathan did all graduate, but they never showed that.
Okay.
But
it's been a while.
Supposedly, like there was like a moment where they mentioned the graduation caps being green. I'm sure it was like a one-off line somewhere in like season 2 or something. But I couldn't be fucked to remember.
Did they ever mention their school colors? Or maybe it's orange and green. Who knows?
The school mattered so little, yeah. The graduation was
Seriously?
so ridiculous, and that poor principal, like, he had nothing to do with any of this, and yet he's getting all the grief at the end.
He was catching a lot of smoke at the end, yeah. I don't know, and I'm like, well, what's the story behind this? What did he do exactly?
Dustin, as if Dustin's life has been uniquely made uncomfortable by this particular man. Like, what must he have done, given what the army has done to Dustin,
Right.
given what, like, the kids at school have, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, but
like,
you're talking about the fake finale. This isn't real.
oh, right.
Wow.
Sorry. They're all
Yeah,
in prison.
so they're all trapped in Henry's mind / their own mind / dream / trance. Oh, another thing, another connection to Henry is that they point out that all of the Wheelers have fresh haircuts, like at the very end of the show, that all look very similar to how Henry wears his hair.
I did notice Mike's haircut looked a little like...
When Nancy gets her haircut, her mom gets the haircut, the dad's hair always looked like Henry's hair.
But it's doing that, like, transition thing. Like, it's just how people's hair looked.
No, it looks like Henry's hair. Because Henry wanted them all to have his hair when he put them in a trance
I think
world.
Katie literally said when we got to that scene, she said something like, "Oh yeah, those haircuts. Why did all women cut their hair short in the 80s?" And I was like, well, they technically did it like on the cusp of 1990, but yeah, I get what you're telling you. It was big in the 80s.
So okay, so you're excited about that. Listen to this shit because I love this one. So also during the graduation scene, they say that everyone is sitting in the Henry stance, which is apparently just sitting with your hands folded in your lap.
I'll pass on that one. Sorry, no, that's absurd. It's just how you sit in a graduation gown.
Exactly. But no, that's how Henry sits.
He doesn't sit much. He's usually suspended from the ceiling.
He sits at one point during the final season when he's telling the kids his grand plan, and that's how he sits.
That's how I sit when I'm telling you my grand plan.
Well, then I'm trapped in a fucking Vecna mindfuck.
Well, yes, that goes without saying.
Okay, but then also during the graduation scene, they say that all of the actors are looking directly at the camera, when literally the actors are just looking at the people on the stage and the camera is facing them. But anyway, no, but they're all looking at the camera because they're trying to tell us that it isn't real. And another connection to Henry is that Henry wears glasses, and if you pay attention, behind all of the main characters, there is an extra with glasses sitting behind them and to their left in almost the exact same position. Whenever like it does a close-up of each of the main kids, they all have somebody in the exact same spot wearing glasses
I like
to their
that.
Okay,
yeah, no,
That's cool.
that part was creepy. Like I was like, "Whoa, that is a weird coincidence."
I'm a film major, and I don't even know how people are picking up on some of these. I'm just like, what?
They're sopranoing it, right? Like The Sopranos ruined the last episode of these shows for all time.
The show neglects to mention what happened with Vicky, Robin's girlfriend, and Susie, Dustin's girlfriend. But
I was very upset about Dustin's girlfriend just disappearing.
No, but it's not a mistake. Or it is a mistake, but it's not a mistake the Duffer Brothers made. It's because Henry didn't know that they existed, so he wouldn't know to put them in his fictional world.
Ooh.
See?
Ooh.
See? And then also, Steve in the end becomes a baseball coach, but he never played baseball in the series. Well, Henry/Vecna has only ever seen him wield a baseball bat, so he just assumed that he plays.
Did he not play baseball?
No, he played basketball.
I don't remember him playing baseball, yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
Huh.
I just think it's lazy, though. I just think they were too lazy to look back and say, what sport does Steve Harrington play again?
And also apparently teaching sex ed.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it looks better, too. Like, there's nothing more American than seeing somebody in a dugout being like, you go get him, kid.
Yeah.
Like, on the basketball court, it feels a little more like you should be throwing a chair or something, right?
No, but Vecna made him be a basketball coach because he's like, oh man, that guy used a baseball bat to kick my ass a few times. So
that means Vecna's doing Steve wrong, because like I remember at the end they were talking about how many girlfriends that he went through.
There are other instances.
Why would Steve want to change anything about this?
I know. So, there are other instances that people throw out that there are extras looking directly at the camera, suggesting that this isn't real, which is just not true. But anyway, we're believing this theory. So, I saw some people point out that there is a Thing poster in the basement when they're playing D&D, and that movie is all about not knowing what is real, essentially.
Good movie.
I know, I love that movie. Hopper supposedly proposes to Joyce with the same ring that Jonathan was going to propose with Nancy with. Vecna would have seen that in the Upside Down, sure. Right before the time jump to the epilogue, the show zooms in on Mike as he watches where supposedly 11 just died, and they say it zooms into his eyes and you can hear the chimes of Vecna's clock very subtly, implying we're stuck inside of his mind. There was also some sort of website for the Squawk that you could visit that had like secret clues that hinted at another episode coming, but I genuinely think that it was like promotion for the final series itself and not for like a final episode. But anyway, another thing that people said in season 4 when they're playing Eddie's campaign, the kids are all shocked to see that Vecna still lives. Like they thought Vecna was dead, and then Eddie puts him in and they're like, oh my god. And they know how the show takes inspiration from D&D, and then it foreshadows some things when the kids play D&D, so this must be a clue that Vecna is not dead. Netflix also made a post somewhere. I couldn't find the actual post, but Instagram told me it was a thing. So they made a post with a bunch of different D&D dice on it, and if you added up all the numbers on the dice, it equaled 43. And there are 42 episodes of Stranger Things with the supposed real finale. But why would the dice add up to 43? That means there has to be a secret episode. There was also...
That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I like that, actually.
I was thinking like, if they started with that, maybe I would have believed it a little bit.
So there really are 42 total episodes?
Yeah.
And there are the dice add up to 43?
Uh-huh.
That is strange.
That is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now this thing I genuinely found weird, and it apparently still happens. When people went to Netflix when this was becoming a big theory, and they typed into the search bar, Netflix search bar, fake ending, and Stranger Things would pop up, and it would be the only thing that popped up on Netflix. That's weird.
Does this still work?
Yes, but it, because my sister tested it for me last night because I don't have the app or whatever, and because she went and tested it and screenshotted it and sent it to me a long time ago saying that look, the fake ending thing works, and it was just Stranger Things that popped up. But now if you type up fake ending, Stranger Things is at the top of the list, but now it has a ton of other shows suggested
Like Love Island, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I never believed the endings there.
And And so I'm trying to logic it, and I feel like the reason that happened was because like the algorithm saw the word ending, and like Stranger Things was ending. So I'm assuming the Netflix algorithm was like, oh, well, you've said the word ending, so here's a show that's ending. Like, it's like a big deal.
If we
that
had
it's
said
ending.
pink ending, it would have done the same thing.
Probably,
Yeah.
but it is weird. It's like weird.
It's unfortunate.
I mean, I'm sure there's other things that I've missed, but I picked the things that I found the most interesting and the things that were said the most. And the last thing that really got people going was the day before January 7th, which was the day the secret episode was supposed to air. The guy who played Vecna, Jamie Campbell Bower, was on Jimmy Fallon, and they did a bit where like Henry was teaching some exercise moves in like a cheesy like 80s exercise video, and like he was like doing exercises based off of like Vecna's and Eleven's like psychic movements and whatever. And
sounds hilarious. That Jimmy Fallon, boy, he's just full of comic gold.
Yes, it was so funny. They were like, are you ready to turn those calories upside down?
Oh man, when
Wow,
are they going to
that's
take
hilarious.
this alcoholic off the air? Ay,
But
ay,
so
ay.
so the guy who plays Vecna is like teaching it, and they keep cutting to or like doing like zoom ups of his face, and like he'll be all like happy go lucky, and then they zoom in and he's like super sinister and says like creepy things, and that happens like back and forth for like 2 or 3 times, and then the final time it ends with him looking directly into the camera and saying, "Tomorrow it begins." And so, and then of course this aired on January 6th, so everybody was like, see, it's real, it's gonna happen. Like, people were freaking out. When I think that it's just a sinister thing, like tomorrow I'm going to destroy the world.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But
Maybe they wanted people to keep believing it.
maybe. I mean, it was giving a lot of hype or whatever. But so another thing that the fans pointed out is that the ending is too happy and too easy. I mean, they killed a kaiju without any of the main characters really taking any damage. And
Yep.
then,
Yeah. Oh, that actually like really icked me because I for a second I thought the Duffer Brothers were just like never had like the goal to just be like, no, I don't know, not killing any of the main guys. We got to keep the audience happy. And then the last season, I was like, okay, maybe they'll finally kill someone off this season. And then like the whole nobody knows if 11 really died, and they did the whole scare with Steve falling off,
I
and
know.
then it's like, and they're really, I feel like they're really trying hard to redeem Jonathan because like.
I won't get into how I feel about Jonathan. But back to the theory. They killed the kaiju without taking any damage, and they all had incredibly happy endings and seemed to conform to exactly what society wanted them to be at the end. This isn't like any of the characters, because Vecna has them all in a trance/dream, and they aren't really behaving how they actually would. Max herself says when they finished their D&D campaign right before the ending, "Comfort and happiness? Could you be more trite? I thought you were some kind of master storyteller or something. This is once again a signal to the audience that something isn't right." So now clearly you're all on board with Conformity Gate and believe it. And, you know, with all the evidence, how could you not? But why is it going to air on January 7th? Well, there are a couple different reasons. One, and the biggest reason that people said, was that it took Joy 6 days to find Will in the first season. The final episode released on January 1st, and 6 days after that would put us on January 7th, even though the finale aired on December 31st, January 2025, so that would actually mean that the secret episode would release on January 6th, but don't pay attention to how the math isn't mathing.
Well, and Donald Trump already took that day away.
That's fair, too. Yes. I know, when I was writing this last night, I was like, oh yeah, they don't want to do it on a
Too many holidays
Insurrection Day.
on one day. Yeah.
Unless they wanted to steer the date clear of something else, and it's like, you know what? Let's make this day
Make it
something else to be remembered by.
So also during the credits, when it shows the Stranger Things role-playing game cover, there is D20 sitting next to it with a 7 facing up. I also saw some people say that this was so dumb. I saw some people saying that the Duffer Brothers said in an interview it was going to be a dark Christmas, and people didn't think that the episodes that were released on Christmas Eve were actually dark. But then people pointed out that the Orthodox Christmas is actually on January 7th.
Ah, yes, the Orthodox. We're always thinking for the Orthodox.
So, So, the people waited anxiously for the secret 9th episode of Stranger Things to release on January 7th. Apparently, so many people rushed to Netflix at once at 8 p.m. Eastern Time that it crashed the site. When people were able to get into Netflix, they finally saw that a secret 9th episode did not actually release. But fear not, Conformity Gate believers. The conspiracy theory wasn't dead just yet. Much like the Seventh-day Adventist, they were like, we just got the date wrong. The secret finale is actually coming out on January 12th. And why was it coming out on January 12th? Netflix revealed that a documentary behind the making of the final season of Stranger Things was releasing that day. These fans believed that the true finale would be secretly hidden in that documentary.
Inside of it.
Yes. So they cited Wes Craven's New Nightmare in this updated Conformity Gate. So I've never seen the movie, but the theorist explained to me that it's a mockumentary about the making of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. But as the documentary goes on, you realize that Freddy Krueger is real and is killing all of the people in the documentary. So it's like a big meta thing, and they were like, and Stranger Things has always been inspired by different things in the 80s, so it wouldn't be elite for them to be inspired by something in Nightmare on Elm Street, in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Also, Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger, plays Vecna's father in season 4. So yes, Conformity Gate is...
Oh, that's new. I didn't know that. I didn't know that now.
That's cool.
That is cool.
But that's just a reference for the Duffer Brothers. Like, that's for the same reason, like, the Sarah Connor played the
Yes, I love
villain.
Sarah Connor
Yeah.
playing the doctor in this season,
Yeah, like, that's just for them. But anyway, so yes, Conformity Gatus, we just got the date wrong. The secret 9th episode will actually be hidden inside of the documentary that Netflix is releasing on Saturday. And then Saturday came, and the documentary was unfortunately just a 2-hour-long, boring documentary.
But Linda Hamilton was attacked by the Terminator about midway through, so that helped.
Oh, sure, yeah. And now the Conformity Gate believers are very quiet, and I see nothing about it popping up on my timeline anymore. So,
They're sad they're wrong.
Yeah. So what is the takeaway from this? The show dropped the ball so poorly with the ending that it ended up making the fans bend their minds into believing it couldn't possibly be the real ending. That's pretty impressive, and I think it's a good transition into the part of the episode where I will rip the show and all of its plot holes to shreds.
Just the season, or like the whole damn
The
thing?
whole fucking series.
Oh, you got a lot of work to do.
Well, closing remarks on Stranger Things?
It was aight. It was aight. It could have been better, but it was aight.
I concur.
I didn't care.
Thank you for riding along with us. Please watch your step as you exit, and remember to take all personal belongings with you.
I win.
We are recording?
Okay, I'm done now.
Okay, my rubber baby bucky bumpers.
Wait, so we are recording?
Yes,
Oh,
we're live. Why was I
great.
doing that?
I don't know, but I
Why
thought
did you guys get quiet?
I thought you were practicing.
Me too.
And then also I went to speak, and then I was like, oh, I need to take a second.
All right. Here we are.